Welcome to Even Just a Little, where we explore the beautiful gift of choice, tiny trusts toward big freedom, those moment-to-moment decisions we make that build life. Hello, and welcome to our maiden voyage of Even Just a Little, where we chat about the precious gift of choice. We wake up every morning with a blank canvas, awaiting little strokes of color and life that we paint by choice. And many of these choices are actually opportunities to take a step of tiny trust. I've learned on this journey, little tiny trust to choose love over fear, love either toward myself, a healthy self-love, or love toward another human. And I am beyond grateful today to welcome my first guest on Even Just a Little, a fellow who epitomizes delight, wonder, and love in his work, in his books. My favorite, Love Does, and just the way he lives his life, the way he prioritizes the value of each human that his life touches. It's my privilege to welcome Bob Goff. Welcome, Bob.
Hi.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing great. I'm up in this little cabin, maybe 2,000 feet up the side of the hill in this inlet. We made this place. This is where I kind of like hang out. That's my one room cabin.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Bob, for joining me on this maiden voyage of something I never expected, even just a little.
You
Welcome.
bet, Sherry. I'm so glad that we're doing this. And for people listening, you are going to so enjoy. Many of you already know Sherry, but some of you are just going to get exposed to her. But she has this heartbeat that is just so kind and caring for people, sincere, and just creative, off the charts. So it's so fun to be able to talk to a creative about like what works. I was just reading the first person that it said that God ever like just kind of interacted with in this really special way. It was a creative. Isn't that kind of fun? It wasn't like Adam and Eve. It was like there was this interaction, and somehow you've tapped into that idea of creativity with your art, with your words, with all things. So very fun to be on with you.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Bob. So you've been in Canada, up in beautiful, majestic country, which beauty is my greatest inspiration. That's where I find God really trying to draw me in, to love me. So tell me a little bit, do you go there to create? And what is it about going to such a beautiful place that might inspire your work?
Yeah, I just love that they included the idea of work, the cadence between work and rest for all of us. Some of us are born from the factory with this like super work ethic, just like work, 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 work. And I'm one of them. However, I found this cadence of rest. And so in a former life, I was a trial lawyer. Can you believe that, Sherry? Would you want me as your lawyer? I'd be like, settle the case.
Well,
I was a
actually,
happy
I
guy.
would, yes.
Yeah, I was a happy guy, but I found myself working, working, working all the time. And so I found this place in Canada that's just super remote, 10,000 square miles to the nearest road. And yet we're talking. So thank you, Elon Musk, for sat links and all that stuff. But it's a place where I come for 3 months out of the year. And I mostly just move bark and rake the gravel and do there. There's a lot of gravel to rake. We just put in 320 tons a couple weeks ago. So can you imagine just moving all that? You would think I'd be in better shape than I am. But there's something even in work of moving the gravel, there's this time of rest. And I think you have used art and creativity to find that cadence. You don't need to go way to a remote place. You can go out to your garden and find that. How do you balance like kind of work and rest?
Uh, that is also my biggest challenge. I almost feel like I have to pull completely away uh, from working because I tend to work. My mind works constantly. So, but that is nature. Going out into nature and noticing if I'm working in the garden or if I see a tomato, just trying to really see it. And I believe with all of my heart that God surrounds us with these things because he's trying to love us constantly, but he doesn't push it. He whispers and waits for us to notice. Even just like you noticing it in the gravel in raking. I mean, it's part of creation. It's rocks and stone and you being there and moving the body. That's another form I think of. It can be worshipful, just being fully there, just being fully there. Yeah.
Yes, and having your head on a swivel to notice whether you're far away or in a familiar setting, start noticing the things around you. It's fawning time, so all the deer are having the little baby deer, and so you can tell where the baby deer are because as you're walking along, you'll hear them. If you walk by, they'll let out a yelp. It sounds like a bird chirping, but I'm thinking that they need a new strategy for survival. So if you get startled, like don't yelp out, say, I'm here, just bring the ketchup. So um, uh, part of it for me is just slowing down enough that I can find the fawns in the weeds. It feels like there ought to be a sermon in there somewhere, but to just slow down a little bit. I'm also looking out. If you were seeing what I'm seeing, there's this big vista in this beautiful inlet, and the orca whales are up the inlet. And so you can tell where an orca is. They're black and they just kind of blend in to the water. But if you look at the puff of a water, like the evidence of where they are, then you go like, oh, there's the pod. And then you can jump in the boat and go out and see them a little bit more closely. But think about that, having your head on a swivel today. You use art, you use the influences around you to just take note of, and then you translate that. And is your first effort to translate the things that you're seeing into words, or do you go straight to, images and visuals? How do you process all that?
Definitely the image. And since I've been working on this book the past almost a year, I'm missing my painting a lot because I feel like that is the way I work. I see the image and I instinctively know, oh, that's it. That's where I'm supposed to go with this. Paint it. And normally as I'm painting it or giving it a one-word title, I get a story or a meditation. So I'm really eager to jump in now and start painting every day. That's going to be my next phase of this. Paint every day an image, and I think the words are going to be included in the paintings in this one. So it's just all coming together by doing it. And that's interesting because I feel like that's what you've given me. No time to overthink things. I've spent a lot of my journey thinking about this and doing this and painting this, and then I'll think about it for a couple of months and then I'll do it again. But you've offered me seemingly impossible tasks because I'm not a technology person, and here I am on a podcast.
Yes, look at you go.
Yes, but you've encouraged me. You just do it. I mean, you just seemingly make the loving choice. That's what it seems like. That's what you've done. Always um, choosing choosing to take that option that is going to benefit someone else. And that's been such a great gift to me. When you first started, do you have do you remember it all when you started living like that, Bob? Do you remember like a tiny little trust that might have initiated that movement of your life in that direction?
Yeah, I remember really distinctly as a young guy the influence that my grandparents had in my life. My grandmother had never learned to drive. She was a switchboard operator. My grandfather was a fireman on the piers in San Francisco Bay. He worked the graveyard shift and he never put out a fire in 40 years. I don't even know if he knew how to. But they did know how to love me. And they told me when I was growing up that they lived in a castle. And that I could have a room in their castle if they wanted. I felt like, wow, you have a castle and I get a room in your castle. And they were living on Social Security, but they took their house, and to the chagrin of every neighbor, they painted it bright pink with white trim because they had in their mind that that's the color a castle would be. And they wanted me to know that I lived in a castle. They told me that they were so rich, they didn't even need to make their own meals. There was some guy named Swanson that would make their meals and put foil over it. Those guys ate so many TV dinners. I mean, they had more salt in them than Lot's wife when they passed. But there's something beautiful about having somebody see in you something that you don't quite see in you yet. And it's different than just flattery or blowing sunshine out you or saying you're so swell, but they actually got out the paint. They gave me a room in their castle. They let me know that I mattered. And they would, when I would sleep over, they would pack me in pillows. So they would each come in with armloads of pillows and pack me with pillows. I am 65. I'm still packing myself in pillows because it reminds me of my grandparents' nurture and care and all that. And so I would say maybe finding some of those cadences that lead you toward this higher creative view of yourself than you've had. Some people just say, I've got a job, and work can be honorable, whether you're picking cabbages or planting them or selling them or bagging them at the grocery store. But they'll stop seeing their work as honorable and they see it as just a way to make rent. And what I want us to do, and I think what you've mastered, is just this getting your head on a swivel and see what's going on around you, inside of you. And then you've expressed it in your paintings and in your words. So tell me this, you could have said, no, I'm just going to stay with what I've got. It's worked for me. I'm going with that. But you said, I'm going to push out a little deeper. What was it that made you decide to say, I'm pushing out deeper? I'm going to go after a different variety of life, more engaged. I'm going to write a book. I'm going to publish my art. Tell us about that.
Well, I'm also my family is my greatest love. So part of it was in painting and showing art and that the business of art. I suspected and knew that there was more. It wasn't just about selling art for me. And then I had all these stories. So my kids really encouraged me to try to put it together. And I attempted a couple of years ago, started this and made the decision to spend a year doing it. And then I just kind of stumbled across the storytellers retreat, and that just it's just fallen into place. I've just continued to work at it, get up every day. And I think that's where a little piece of trust comes in for me, because honestly, it would be way easier I'm called JoJo. That's what my grandchildren call me. Just be JoJo. I mean, I have 6 with the 7th on the way, and I adore every one of them. But there's something about sharing what I've been given, because I really think it has to do similarly to what you express. I want my grandchildren to feel wrapped in pillows too. I want them to know
Yes.
that. And I want other people to feel wrapped in pillows.
Yes.
And that's always been what motivates me at the depth of my being too.
Yes.
So
I
I
love
love
this.
that. Well, I love that visual imagery of your grandparents wrapping you in pillows. Guess who's going to be wrapping their grandchildren
Yeah.
in pillows?
They also had this really neat tradition. It was room rent. And so anytime, because it was my room in the castle, anytime they went into my room, they would pay me room rent. So they would put a nickel in this little jar. And so when I would come in, I'd run upstairs to my room in the castle and I would open up to see how much room rent I got. And it just reminded me about how much they cared for me, that every time they went in there, that was my room and they should pay some rent. It was
Oh, I
so
love
cute.
that. So you are made in your grandparents' image because this is so fun and so out of the box. I mean, just so amazing. Oh,
So I
love.
just think whether the creative release is with paint and brush, or with words, or with these actions, to just think of those things that where you could express love. There was one of the guys that wrote one of the letters in the Bible, Paul. He said the only thing that matters is your faith expressed in love. And so that is something that's felt like almost like an anthem, to say faith expressed in love. We have a lot of people expressing their faith in opinions and expressing their faith by being really difficult, but say, well, I'm just going to express my faith and love. And then what I'm going to do is I'm not trying to control the outcome. What you and I will do, we'll just pack people in pillows when they meet with us, and then we'll just express our faith and love, and they can do whatever they want. They can throw the pillows off, they can snuggle into them. But I want people to experience the creativity and the authenticity that we can bring to relationships. And just that model, finding a couple people in your life. For me, I'm thinking about grandparents, and that is contemporary for you, but even somebody listening right now, to say, what would be a way to express my faith and love, the things that I believe the most? How could I express that in love? There's a lot of people that want to tell you what to believe or what to do with what you believe. I just want people to just like let it off the chain, to say, express your faith and love. You're not going to express that in mean, manipulative ways. You're going to start packing people in pillows. You'll come up with another story for your life. Will be a chef you have called Swanson. I remember they would let me
Amazing.
pull the little paper back, or the tin foil back on the apple cobbler. Remember those in TV dinners? You pull that back so it can brown a little bit. It's like a suicide attempt every time you have one of these
Oh, that's
TV
so.
dinners. But there was something just so endearing. And they had TV trays. Remember
Mm-hmm.
in the old
Oh
day, you'd
yeah.
set that up in front of the whatever TV show that was on, and you would
Uh-huh.
put your TV dinner that would fit the TV tray.
Oh.
No wonder the average age expectancy was like 45.
Oh, that's just amazing. That's just such a uh watching TV with a TV tray, with a TV
Yes,
dinner in your
yes.
castle. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. Oh, it really
Uh,
doesn't.
but I think the point that I've taken away from all of our interactions is the way that you express your faith in your creativity. And I'm, with a paint and a brush, if it was a roller in the side of a building, I could do that. But for me, I love words. And so writing down, even as we were talking, I hadn't thought about that living in castle thing for the longest time. And then so I just jotted down the word castle. And then when we were talking about pillows, I wrote down pillows. And then when we were talking about orcas, I said orcas and evidence. It isn't just the orchid, is the evidence of where they are, is the mist that they blow. And so kind of if I was just playing with words later, I could say like our failures, like, where you blow it. That's where you can tell where you actually are. You can spot somebody. And this place where you and I met in SoCal, this little retreat center, I bring people who've blown it big time to just get some rest, to not get photographs taken of them, people that have had big public failures. I just love having a really safe place, and you and I can create that wherever we are. What's your safe place?
My safe place, my back porch, my yard. It's always nature for me. But I also like to share. I think I like to create those spaces for other people, using art, and that's an interesting piece, has been an interesting piece for me, because generally, at least in Littletown, Texas, where I live, art's sometimes seen as an exclusive thing, or even the breath and the body, the movement that I've studied in yoga. They're seen as some kind of something someone mystic does or out there. And in reality, art is done as an offering. I start the process, I share what I've seen, what's drawn my attention, and then it's my job to put it out there and let someone else see it. So I think that's the fun in sharing it. Particularly in retreat settings where people can experience what they need to experience in art, like we did when we came to the Oaks Center. We experienced what we need there. And also, with the body, using our breath. It's not a mystical thing. We all have breath if we're hearing this. So, using it to connect and enrich or deepen our relationship with God, heal our bodies, breathing, and just knowing that our bodies can do the same thing, movement, and creativity, play. So it's all so many opportunities to recognize that we've really all blown it. We've really all blown it, but there are constant little lifelines being thrown if
Yeah.
we will notice. And another piece of that to me is, and I'd love your thoughts on this, Bob. I kind of feel like we're supposed to be having this wonderful party of life, enjoying the beauty in each other. But a lot of people that I cross paths with don't feel like they're worthy of that party, or they didn't get an invitation to the party, and that's a big part of my mission. I think helping people realize everybody's invited. And I think that's where you have such a gift for offering that you matter just in your presence. So tell me a little bit about, is that, I feel like it's an unconscious thing for you now. You've done it for so long, but
Yeah. Maybe the go-to is I'm back to safe places. I'm not a baseball guy, but we have a team in San Diego, evidently. The Padres, so I hear.
yeah,
So
just
they were having some game with one of the other teams, and somebody had read a book, and they said, "Would you like to throw the first pitch?" And I was thinking that wouldn't be a high event for me, but my son would totally dig that. And so he got out on the mound and he like three hopped it to the plate. And I thought he was throwing all strikes because that's the way proud fathers and mothers think.
yeah.
But they gave us this skybox or something behind home plate that was all like glassed in, and they must have had food for 60 people in there, and it was just me and Maria, Lindsay, Richard, and Adam. So there's just five of us, and none of us were hungry. So what we did is we went up to the nosebleed section, and we found people that had paid, $4 for a ticket, and they were like watching the game with their binoculars from far away. And we said, I know this sounds so creepy, but we have this place right behind home plate. And there's an entire banquet set up in there. And what I want you to do is follow us down there. And you just stand at the door and look inside and decide if it's safe. And if you feel like it's safe, then go in because there's a banquet there. And if you're creeped out or you don't want to go in for some reason, don't think it's safe, then you go right back to your room in the nosebleed section. And so there's something really beautiful about being invitational, that you just invite people to the banquet, and then let people know it's a safe place, but let them decide for themselves instead of just saying it's a safe place. And you can do that through your art. You can do that through your yoga. You can do that through your faith to express that in love. Just say, this is a safe place for you to be who you want to be and where you want to be. And there's something about that. And I don't think that's going light on doctrine and all the rest. I think it's just going big on Jesus and just say, like, our job is to love people, and then all the rest is for God to sort out with them. And that's not a cop out. That's just like the highest form of loving people, is to not try to manipulate them. Just invite people to say, there's a banquet. I don't know, man. I didn't make the banquet. I didn't cook the hot dogs, but there's some pretty fancy food in there. And if you want to take part in something pretty special, I just want you to know you're invited. And then it's not, there's no shame if you'd rather stay up eating corn dogs a little further away, but you could be right in on the action. And I think there's something beautiful and enduring about that. If we could let people know there's no cool kids table, that everybody's welcome. We just need to respond to the invitation, and every single day, every single sunrise, it's another invitation.
I love that. I love that. And everybody really is invited. Everybody. Yeah.
Yes, totally. Everybody. Some people think that everybody means some people. Or they think everybody means
Absolutely.
everybody who agrees with me. So,
Yes.
but what if we just say there's going to be people that are as creepy and insecure as you and I are at times, and they'll bring all that weirdness and all that insecurity with them. But if we can create a safe place to say, you don't need to be weird and insecure right now. You don't need to be going off on this bender. Just be fully present. And to your point about find your breathing, I'm not a yoga guy. Sweet Maria Goff loves stretching out in the morning, and she gives herself a sticker every time she does her stretches in the morning. It's so cute. Yeah, she's got one even up here at the lodge. She's up here with her little stickers. But she's found that cadence that you found. And I would encourage the people listening to find that cadence for themselves as well.
Yes. Well, this has been beyond a joy, chatting with you, Bob. It always is. Thank you so much for taking time out of your rock Reiki.
Yes. It doesn't feel very zen. It feels like just a lot of work, which is great.
Well, and wish you the best with your new book. How's that coming?
Yeah, there will be a book that'll come out December 10th, and I've always got my head into the next one. But when one is going to come out, then I always get my head into the next one. So I'm not really insecure about how this one goes. So I'm so spending the rest of the summer working on the next one. And so I hope you'll continue to do that. I know you finished up yours. And so it's going to be out there when people have a shot at picking that thing up. How can people get a hold of that thing?
Well, I'm at the point of sending out literary agent proposals right now, but I have yes, and I have we'll have the podcast out there soon, YouTube channel, even just a little, and of course my website sherryjonesart.com. So would love for anybody that's interested, reach out. I'd love to just chat about it. Just love to chat about it.
Yeah, I would say if things resonated from this conversation with anybody, do what I did, which is get in the vicinity of Sherry and her joy,
Thank you, Bob. Thank
because
you.
my life has much improved since I did.
Oh, well, right back at you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And I look forward to seeing you soon. And like we talked about in the beginning, perhaps there is something that resonated from our conversation today with our listeners. Something Bob said, something that I may have brought up. And I would just encourage all of you to just really listen and even if it's just a little tiny step toward that inclusiveness or really seeing others and hearing others to take that step of tiny trust.
Mhm.
Hey, we've got to run. Thank you so much for joining us for this maiden voyage of Even Just a Little. Perhaps there was something that caught your interest. We would love to talk with you further. Reach out to me at sherryjonesart.com and take a little step of tiny trust, even if it's just a little. Next time on Even Just a Little.
The problem is the scramble. The question is not the problem.
Right.
The question is just a need. It just represents a need that you have, and there's nothing wrong with that need. That we just need. What's wrong is when we try to meet that need in unhealthy ways, which is again is the scramble. And so we don't want to judge ourselves. In fact, we want to welcome that need. I want to welcome the fact that I need safety in my life. Okay, that's an important driver, not important, the driver in my life. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not going to judge myself or belittle myself or wish I didn't have that need. I'm going to accept that part of who I am, which is really important. And then I'm going to be very strategic about making sure that I'm living with that question in a healthy way, not living in the scramble.
Thanks so much for joining us on Even Just a Little.